Welcome to MojoPlays. Today we're looking at games where the main character isn't the player, because you're not always the center of attention. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. The character at the forefront of the story and who drives the plot isn't always the point of view character on the other end of the controller. Viewers beware, there are major spoilers ahead.
I don't know what your group's been through, but let's get one thing clear. I didn't kill your father.
Dragon Age 2.
What makes you so certain we can help? You know nothing about us.
As the blight that took up the entire plot of Dragon Age Origins rages through Ferelden, Hawke and his family have to escape through the conflicts to get to the free marshes. Hawke's definitely an enjoyable character to players depending on the personality you give them, but they're not the only ones risking their neck to destroy the Archdemon as it makes its move on Denerim.
I'm part of an expedition into the deep roads. Any information you have could save people's lives.
Instead, Hawke finds themselves tagging along on the first expedition to discover the deadly red lyrium, right in the middle of political turmoil that focuses on Kirkwall's first enchanter and Knight Commander. All Hawke is really being the champion of is being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they're incapable of preventing the destruction of the chantry that triggers the Inquisitor's story.
You've convinced me. What's your plan?
The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion.
You are the one from my dreams. Then the stars were right, and this is the day.
You're just minding your own business being imprisoned when the Emperor shows up to use your cell as an escape route, with his prompt death triggering an invasion of Daedra throughout Cyrodiil. It turns out that the only way to stop this is to find someone of royal blood to take the throne. And it turns out that for once in an RPG, this special character isn't you at all.
If the amulet is truly the key to restoring the barriers between our world and Oblivion, you must waste no time in recovering it.
Rather, it's a priest named Martin, an illegitimate heir, and now it's your job to help close the gates onto Oblivion. While you're still an important character for the game's many side quests, as far as the main one is concerned, you're just a secondary character in Martin's big story.
You'll just have to trust me. I know now what I was born to do.
Gone Home.
Like, she's going to join the army and then have to lie about who she is?
You play as Katie Greenbrier, the oldest daughter of a tumultuous family who has come home after travelling. Throughout, you're led to believe that the house may contain a supernatural mystery, but this is far from the truth. And in fact, Katie's probably the least important character in the whole game.
I'm really afraid that's a whole other story.
The real main character is her younger sister Sam, who, by the time the game begins, has run away to join her girlfriend Lonnie. The entire story is actually about Sam coming to terms with her sexuality, and not Katie discovering the aftermath of an angry ghost coming out of the woodwork.
I mean, you've known, right? I've known. I've known since, like, She-Ra.
Command and Conquer.
Well done. You are truly becoming Kane's favorite. How would you like to ensure your place in the highest echelons of Nod?
In charge of the front lines of a vast, global conflict, you take on the role of a nameless, faceless commander, constantly battling with the opposite faction and getting orders from characters you don't really care about. That is, until the mysterious and powerful Kane starts chirping in your ear during the Brotherhood of Nod campaign.
I am Kane. When I get your troops back from the States, I want you to take what men you have left and secure this abandoned GDI base.
The only character to be played by an actual professional actor during the 1995 game's live-action segments. Kane is a mythic and powerful figure who wants all the Tiberium he can get his hands on. While we never find out much about him personally in the first game, it's his organization who starts the Tiberium Wars that occupy most of the franchise, and their cold wars always turn hot when Kane is back on the scene.
2 GDI bases rest on ground I have chosen to be the cradle of my temple. Remove them in any way you can.
Final Fantasy X.
Can I have your autograph?
Of course.
Good luck tonight!
Nothing to worry about.
No, Titus, this is not your story. It's actually Yuna's. Yuna is the one who's launched a long-running pilgrimage to gather Aeons and defeat Sin, the monster threatening to destroy the world of Spira. All Titus really wants to do is play blitzball and deal with his daddy issues. It takes a lot of pushing to get him to actually join her and go fight Sin, thanks to Waka.
I must do what everyone wants, not just what I want.
Let's go back.
Titus might be a vital part of the team, but it's all about Yuna, and she's the one who makes the commitment to try and rebuild the world. This trend continues in Final Fantasy XII. In fact, late in development for that game, the protagonist was switched from Bash to Vaughn, though Bash remains a more interesting character.
I would ask you the same. Let this end, Noah.
BioShock Infinite.
Fresh air did the trick. This one's awake.
So you're this false shepherd we've been hearing so much about. Caused a mess of trouble at the raffle.
One thing and one thing only drives the plot of BioShock Infinite: Elizabeth. Although you play as Booker DeWitt, a man sent to retrieve Elizabeth from Columbia to wipe out his debts, as you further progress through the story, it turns out that he isn't exactly the hero you think he is. Elizabeth is the person everyone wants control of, the most powerful character in the franchise capable of opening doors to other dimensions, and is the heart of the story.
This is the way out, isn't it?
What are you... Give it to me.
This was finally acknowledged when she did become the playable character in Burial at Sea, Episode 2, where we find out she was responsible for helping Atlas retrieve Jack from the surface, enabling the events of the very first game.
It says... Would you kindly...
Portal and Portal 2.
Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper.
In both games, the player takes on the role of Chell, the last remaining test subject at Aperture Science, and the only one who's constantly masters the tests she's put through. But Chell never says a word and is only seen if the player does some interesting portal placements. In actuality, GLaDOS is a more compelling character. She has a backstory, the motivations, and the personality.
Was it worth it? Because despite your violent behavior, the only thing you've managed to break so far is my heart.
And she even becomes a very entertaining potato ally for much of the second game. She might be a killer robot, but the story of her downfall, resurrection, and the second downfall are what make Portal more than just a puzzle game.
So what do you say? You carry me up to him and put me back into my body, and I stop us from blowing up and let you go.
Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty. That's right, we're finishing off with what is easily the most infamous case of all. Sure, Raiden is a compelling character whose conflict with Solid Snake certainly has us invested, but it wouldn't really be a Metal Gear game without, Snake, who remains at the center of the story regardless of who the player is.
Been waiting long?
While we're initially led to believe that the true Solid Snake is dead, and then later that he's become a terrorist, it turns out that one of Raiden's SEAL allies has been Snake all along, because Raiden is an idiot. Even though Raiden is the one who ultimately defeats Solid Snake, the hero baton is handed back to Solid Snake as he and Otacon take it upon themselves to hunt down Liquid Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 4. Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos straight away.